Spent my whole life searching for a shelter for my soul, an understanding of the greater plan. In these walls I've seen the light of love pure and divine, helps me remember who I really am. In every face it's clear, we're all God's children here, and it feels like home, it feels like home. I finally found a place where I belong. It feels like home, it feels like home, a family that I can call my own. It feels like home. It's a place to share your burden. It's safe to shed a tear, say a prayer and raise your voice in song, where every heart is honored and every path is true. No one's here to judge you right or wrong. And there's no shame, no sin, in this place where love begins. And it feels like home, it feels like home. I finally found a place where I belong. It feels like home, it feels like home, a family that I can call my own. It feels like home.
Please join me in creating a place of inner comfort together as we turn inward. I release the worries of my mind, the tensions of my body, and I breathe deeply into comfort and calm. As I connect body, mind, spirit, I create an integrity of soul. Feeling into the cocoon of this experience, I am at rest. In honor of Father's Day, I fuel myself this morning from the wet reservoir of unlimited source, the qualities necessary to meet the uncertainty and challenge of daily life are mine as I bring them into being. I draw on strength, protection, comfort, reassurance, and affirmation. I draw on intelligence, wisdom, and order. Such virtues may be modeled and taught by a father, by important others of either sex, but also cultivated from within. I give thanks this morning for all the people and all the experiences that point toward what is right and good and help build my inner compass. Most of all, I give thanks for knowing that the qualities I most need are available to me from within and from within the community of relationships that compose my life. Together, we will remember and we will remind one another. And it is so.
Feels like home. It feels like home. I finally found a place where I belong. It feels like home. It feels like home. A family that I can call my own. It
If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all others doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too. If you can wait and not be tired by waiting or being lied about, don't deal in lies. Or being hated, don't give way to hating. And yet, don't look too good, nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken and stoop and build them up with worn-out tools, if you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss and lose and start again at your beginnings and never breathe a word about your loss, if you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they're gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings, nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it. And, which is more, you'll be a man, my son.
I am a child of the living God, made in the image of perfect love. All that I am, all I've been given to you, my God, I surrender. I surrender. I am a child of the living God, made in the image of perfect love. All that I am, all I've been given to you, my God, I surrender. I surrender.
Good morning. Happy Father's Day. I have Ruthie, who is our YOU president. She's going to come up. We have a little special thing for you guys for Father's Day. So just a moment. Ruthie's going to get ready.
If you're a great-grandfather, stand up. And, or raise your hand. Yeah.
Keep your hands up. Keep your hands up.
If, oh, wait.
All the way back. Back of the wall. There you go.
Oh, and then. Okay. Now, if you're a grandfather, raise your hand.
Oh, boy. Yeah, we'll have more for that later. Come get your gift later.
So we don't have enough gifts, but come get your gift later. But thank you to all the dads. And yeah, if you're a regular guy, thank you.
We love you anyway. We'll give you a gift. Okay, one more thing. So last time we did some flossing and we did dabbing. Now we have an upside down dab. Can we please demonstrate? Oh yeah, it was worked on all week. And they would like to leave the stage being a unicorn, so we're going to do that, but if you'd like to join us being a unicorn when we leave, you just do this. So, okay.
Thank you for being our family. Thank you for being our friend. Thank you for blessing and teaching us. God bless you. Amen. Here we go. All that I am, all I've been given, to you, my God, I surrender.
Well, thank you, Youth and Family Ministry. It proves it. Unity is a practical spirituality. Anytime I want to be a unicorn, now I know how to do it, and so do you. That's wonderful. Welcome to Unity in Lynnwood on this Father's Day Sunday, and a special honoring in the direction of all fathers and grandfathers and great-grandfathers. Many people play fathering role. We have mothers who have also played the role of father, as we have fathers who have played the role of mother. So, stabilizers, protectors, providers, inspirers, and unconditional lovers, we honor you all. I want to acknowledge again that these prescribed days for celebrating things like Father's Day, like Mother's Day, can be kind of tough. These primary relationships sometimes are complicated. Not everyone had a father or received what they wish they might have received from their father. So Father's Day is also a wonderful opportunity to remember other people in our lives, people who have been models and guides and comforters and inspirers. They may have been teachers, coaches, they may have been uncles, that was my case. They may have been leaders or bosses. They may be spiritual directors. Many people offer us the qualities we associate with dads, things like dependability, strength, inspiration, honesty, wisdom, moral grounding, that unconditional love I mentioned. This can be an opportunity to think about how I, how you, how we also can bring more of these life-sustaining qualities to others, day to day. I hope for each of you that there is someone in your heart that you are honoring on this day. I want to extend a warm-hearted welcome to everyone who is here today, especially those of you who might be here for the first time or who are relative newcomers. All people are welcome at Unity in Lynnwood. In fact, it is our stated intention that we be a welcoming community, and we all do that together. So I appreciate your being a part of our welcome. We include people of different races, cultures, sexual orientations, religious backgrounds, no religious background whatsoever. And it occurred to me that while we value community as we do, we're also autonomous seekers. We get both sides of that coin. I love the beauty of that personally. We offer many activities, events, classes, and small groups here in hopes that if it is your desire, you might soon come to feel at home here too. Today and every Sunday following our service, you are welcomed and invited across the hall to the Friendship Hall, where we enjoy refreshments, maybe a beverage, maybe some really good conversation. And today is, I noticed that the youth have done something a little creative again, or whoever. This isn't exactly their Sunday, but I think there's some touch going on in there. It's fun. Hope you can be there. Brief word about giving at Unity in Lynnwood. Whether you give by cash, check, credit card, or electronic funds transfer, say that 5 times really fast or just once. Please consider standardizing your giving by joining our Givers Circle program. It's a program for planned giving so that our Board of Trustees has the benefit of knowing about cash flow, which is wonderful if you're on the Board of Trustees. If you find value consistently in these services, please consider responding with consistent giving. For those who are members of the Giver Circle, we have little cards we can pick up on the way in and put those in the offering basket. We have little glass beads that serve the same purpose, so we can tangibly participate in the process when it's offering time. And forms for joining the Giver Circle can be found right to the left of the door as you exit in that wall rack. Prayer is important in unity. Prayer helps us direct our vital energies. It helps us align with divine energies. Unity teaches that we humans can never be separate from one creative, causative force, that each of us is made of this very God stuff. We use prayer in its many forms, including meditation and silence, to strengthen our identity as God potential, perhaps not yet fully realized, so that we can move a little further toward our highest potential. Myrtle Fillmore, a Unity co-founder, said these words about prayer. We use prayer to change our thought habits and our living habits. So to change our thinking, change what we do, so that we may set up a new and better way of doing things in accord with divine law, rather than with the suggestions we have received from various sources. And I'm pretty sure what she was talking about there is all that cultural conditioning that you and I have been subjected to, and those crazy sometimes beliefs will pop up for us now and then. We have tools for that. You will hear us speak of denials and affirmations together because they work powerfully together. They're both forms of prayer. Denials help us rise above our faulty, limiting beliefs, and affirmations help us claim our highest potential. Many kinds of prayer support are available here at Unity in Lynnwood. We make this support available at all times throughout the week, any time of day. If you happen to have something that is weighing on you and you would appreciate some prayer support, I want you to know how to find it. And I encourage you to avail yourself of that service. On Sundays after service, just come on to the front of the sanctuary and look for one of our prayer chaplains. They wear the purple stoles around their necks. They are honored always to meet with us individually in prayer. And also on Sundays, if you'd like to write your request on a slip that's right in the back of the chair in front of you called a prayer request, do that and slip it into the offering basket. Other times, other ways, we have a confidential prayer line anytime, any day. The number is in the bulletin or the calendar. We also have the website, so links on the website to get to the prayer request spot. And if you happen to have a new Unity app, about 3 clicks on your phone and there you are, place to leave that request. I do love to honor the prayer chaplains who devote many hours every week to serving us. So if there are prayer chaplains among us now, will you please stand and we can say thank you. Each week, as a group, we share a denial and affirmation. I'll read today's, and then I will invite you to say it with me. You'll see it on the screen right behind me. I do not approach the bank of life with selfish requests and petty appeals. Rather, I fling open the doors and I shout, I'm here to make an audacious deposit. Ready your drawers. If you're able, please stand and we will share these words. Ready. I do not approach the bank of life with selfish requests and petty appeals. Rather, I fling open the doors and I shout, I'm here to make an audacious deposit. Ready your drawers. So let's take a minute to greet each other while we're on our feet.
Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah.
Oh, stay on your feet. Stay up. We're having fun, aren't we? Stay up. The words belong to Charles Fillmore. They read as follows: if you feel so inclined, I am. I am now. And don't you just think if we could just get those first three, we would have spent our time wisely. I am now in the presence of pure being. I am now in the presence of pure being. And immersed in the Holy Spirit. Of life, love, and wisdom. I acknowledge your presence and your power. In your divine wisdom. Now remove my mortal limitations. And from your pure substance of love. Bring into manifestation my world. According to your perfect law. And so it is. And so it is. And so it is. Oh, sit down. Yee-hoo. I'm very happy to see you this morning. I delight in your presence. Small group ministry. This is what's available to you. The entrance requirements are similar to those for life. Yet again, in all ways, you simply have to show up. Into any and all, you are warmly welcome. Please do note that the last Friday's Summer's Speakers series is in something of a transition. We will keep you posted of the plans. I'm using my notes here. Wow, that's even better. Today, your local humanitarian outreach ministry sponsors the Bloodworks Northwest Mobile Van. If you have yet to register, please consider giving 45 minutes, a gift that impacts as many as 90 lives. They also accommodate walk-ups. I understand, Rosalie, that you have provided some delicious homemade treats in support of those who support. Thank you for giving that gift. I am always happy to see you. My friends at Unity in Lynnwood, happy Father's Day.
Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get Everything I've ever dreamed has brought me here to this present moment here, to a new beginning here, and I'm seeing life so clearly now. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. 'Cause here I go, deeper, deeper, deeper than I've ever been before. Here I go, closer, closer, closer to my sacred source. Here I go, deeper, deeper, deeper than I've ever been before. Here I go, closer, closer, closer to my sacred source. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in.
Men folk, dudes and guys, fellas, blokes, chaps, gents and gentlemen. Cary Grant, Marlon Brando, Clark Gable. Gregory Peck, Jimmy Stewart, Sidney Poitier, James Dean, Ricky Ricardo, John Wayne, Redford and Newman, Moore and Connery, James Earl Jones, Tommy Lee Jones, Christopher Reeve, Burt Reynolds, Yummy, Danielle? Oh, Lord, ready your drawers indeed. What is... Elvis, Harrison, Samuel, Morgan, Denzel, Keanu, Pacino, De Niro, DiCaprio, Clooney, Gere, Pitt, Depp, Chuck Norris, Jackie Chan, Arnold. William Shatner, William Hurt, Will Rogers, Will Smith, Willie Mays, Robin Williams, Hank Williams, Billy D. Williams, men, manly men, men of men, durable, dangerous, all swagger and sway. And even as the emergence of Ward Cleaver and Mike Brady might suggest an evolution toward a gentler man, even these scarcely departed from their forefathers. Make no mistake, I mean, while we never saw Ward beat up a contentious neighbor or Mike ride into a setting sun, neither did we ever hear Ward say, I've got some apologies to make, or Mike say, I've got some forgiving to do. Still bristly and bumpy, still all control and constraint. There was something of these men that seemed to perceive any emotional vulnerability as a fault to be avoided. You understand. Just imagine John Wayne asking Angie Dickinson for some snuggle time. Imagine Burt Reynolds asking Sally Field for a tissue. And these men didn't do it alone. Society helped. I mean, allow your imagination to pan to the audience as John Wayne asks Angie Dickinson for some snuggle time. Not supportive, right? Menfolk, dudes and guys, fellas, blokes, chaps, gents, and gentlemen. And this I turn to the ancient Hebrews in their attempts to understand the origins of life and the activities of truth. I think they had it right when they imagined humanity's beginnings as, let us make humankind in our image. So male and female, God created them. And while history would interpret these beginnings as something of a cosmic person factory with a male foreman producing boys and girls, men and women, slots and notches, Unity would say that each of us was, as the epic myth states, created male and female in the image of a source which is both male and female. You thought transsexualism was a new idea. In other words, Unity would say that each of us, boys and girls, men and women, slots and notches, is a duality of masculine and feminine gifts and capacities. You see, the point isn't that God emanated two genders. The point is that God emanated whole people. And the problem is that this duality of masculine and feminine gifts and capacities has been wildly out of whack for wildly too long. And the world continues to wallow in the ill effects of women who have curtailed their powerful heads and men who have constrained their powerful hearts. The world continues to wallow in the ill effects of women afraid to think and men afraid to feel. Women afraid to vision and men afraid to intuit. The evolution from John Wayne to Mike Brady is an evolution which has been handed to each of us sitting in this room on this Father's Day 2019. And it's an evolution which beckons each of us into a greater balance of those masculine and feminine gifts and capacities with which each of us has been imbued. The evolution from John Wayne to Mike Brady has been handed to John Brooks, you see. And it's been handed to Daniel. It's been handed to Jack. Now, this Father's Day coincides with the third in our series entitled Stonewall, to conclude with a service entitled Stand. It's scheduled for Friday, June 28th, the 50th anniversary of the Stonewall event. This service features music by Matthew and Bev and Garnet, messages from Reverend Nina, Rabbi Ted, Bishop Kathy, Imam Jamal from the Interfaith Sanctuary, Reverend Linda Spencer, from Unity of Skagit Valley, Dr. Kathy Ann from CSL, Reverend Sidney from Unity Portland, and more. All are warmly welcome. The shuttle will run. And to reiterate, I do believe it is worthy of reiterating, the series description reads as follows: change, whether in our organizations or our communities or our nations or our world, it seems that meaningful change more often rises from the evolution of individuals than it does from the vision of leaders. Not only does it more often rise from the evolution of individuals, meaningful change often rises in tension with the vision of leaders, in tension with accepted ways, in tension with normative belief, in tension with existing systems. This is the real story of Stonewall. It's the story of that rise of the evolutionary impulse within individuals in tension with the very worlds in which they lived. And the story of that rise of the evolutionary impulse within individuals is one that can be limited to no single era, one that can be limited to no single geography. It's one that has neither beginning nor ending. It's one in which each of us has been assigned a role. So Stonewall is a series dedicated to those individuals who stood to center for meaningful change 50 years ago, yes, but even more so to all who are willing to give rise to that same evolutionary impulse that calls each of us, even today, into higher ways of being. As recently as 2016, former Commissioner William Bratton called Stonewall a terrible experience, but went on to say that because it had served as a tipping point for change, an apology was unnecessary. In fact, he said the apology, it's all that's occurred since then. He might as well have said, because my brutality served as something of a wake-up call, I pretty much did you a favor. We can easily imagine a John Wayne character saying, because my abuse served as something of a wake-up call, little missy, I pretty much did you a favor. Or a Sean Connery character saying, because my infidelity served as something of a wake-up call, feisty britches, I pretty much did you a favor. You're welcome. No need to repay. An apology that somehow manages to nullify injury as it manages to disown responsibility. Amazing. Amazing. And it was this year that the current commissioner, James O'Neill, finally said during a briefing, the actions taken by the New York Police Department were wrong, plain and simple. The actions and the laws were discriminatory and oppressive, and for that, I apologize. Now that, my friends, is an apology that acknowledges injury and accepts responsibility. That's the evolution we need. You see, just because we never heard Ward say, I've got some apologies to make, or Mike say, I've got some forgiving to do, it doesn't mean such practices don't matter. They do. In that evolution which beckons each of us into a greater balance of those masculine and feminine gifts and capacities with which each of us is imbued, the ability to apologize and the ability to forgive are fully on the table. For both of these practices would emancipate us individually and collectively, I believe, from our stuck states. Both of these practices would allow us to reclaim and redirect the energies which we've been assigning to that which was for the important work of that which is and that which is yet to be. It was in 1942 that Roosevelt signed an executive order relocating some 127,000 Japanese Americans to concentration camps in the interior of the United States. Evacuation orders were posted in neighborhoods, giving instructions, and families sold their homes, their assets, their businesses at a fraction of their value, only to be held in temporary quarters such as stables at racetracks. While these camps were readied, they lived in tar paper barracks. They were given the opportunity to work for $5 a day. And make no mistake, to leave was to be shot. When the order was repealed, hostility against Japanese Americans had elevated to the point that many villages displayed signs demanding their non-return. And it was in 1988 that the following was issued, and I quote, "Over 50 years ago, the United States government unjustly interned, evacuated, or relocated you. Today, on behalf of your fellow Americans, I offer a sincere apology to you for the actions that unfairly denied Japanese Americans and their families fundamental liberties. We understand that the nation's actions were rooted deeply in racial prejudice, wartime hysteria, and a lack of leadership. We must learn from the past and dedicate ourselves as a nation to renewing the spirit of equality and our love of freedom. Together, we can guarantee a future with liberty and justice for all." That is the evolution we need. It was only in 2008 that the following was issued. It is with pride that I introduce this resolution. As a member of this institution in this building that was built with slave labor, and for which the new visitors gallery will be known as Emancipation Hall. This country had an institution of slavery for 246 years and followed it with Jim Crow laws that denied people equal opportunity under the law. There were separate water fountains, there were separate hotels, job opportunities that were not available to African Americans. There were theaters that were segregated. When we conceived this government and said all men were created equal, we didn't, in fact, make all men equal, nor did we make women equal. This Congress did the right thing in apologizing for the imprisonment of Japanese Americans during World War II, but the fact that this government has not apologized to its own citizens, African Americans, for the institution of slavery and for the Jim Crow laws that followed is a mistake. Today, we rectify that mistake. Hopefully, it will begin a dialogue where people will open their hearts and their minds to the problems that face this country, from racism that exists in this country and which must end if we're to move forward as the country we were created to be. A great country can recognize and admit its mistakes and then travel forth to create indeed a more perfect union that works to bring people of all races, people of all religions, people of all creeds together into unity as part of the United States of America. End quote. That is the evolution that we seek. Even Felicity Huffman of recent weeks demonstrated it thusly to these students who work hard every day to get into college and to their parents who make tremendous sacrifices to support their children and do so honestly. This transgression toward my daughter and the public I will carry for the rest of my life. My desire to help my daughter is no excuse to break the law or to engage in dishonesty. End quote. That is the evolution we seek. And there's no such thing as being done. Being a human being in community with other human beings is a wildly complicated thing. Perhaps you've noticed. bumps and bruises seem to be inherent within the recipe itself. The question becomes then, can we get better at reclaiming and redirecting the energies we've been assigning to that which was for the important work of that which is and that which is yet to be? Can we get quicker? Can we get quicker at reclaiming and redirecting the energies we've been assigning to that which was for the important work of that which is and that which is yet to be? The writer of the gospel called Matthew, you understand, of course, that it would be incorrect to assume that the title and the authorship are the same. Just nod yes. Yes, of course we know that. We absolutely, you bore me by even bringing it up. I tell you what. That author would say that if we would offer a gift at the altar, but remember that we have some unfinished business, well, leave the gift. Leave the gift and go make peace first. Well, if the real story of Stonewall is the rise of that evolutionary impulse within individuals in tension with the very worlds in which they lived, I like to think that the rabbi means that in order to give rise to that evolutionary impulse, we've got to clean up some of the messes we've made. And the irony is, it's my favorite movie of all time. I hope I'm not dead. I don't know what's happening here. To give rise to that evolutionary impulse toward equality, we've got to make amends for our bigotry. To give rise to that evolutionary impulse toward harmony, we've got to make amends for our cruelty. We have to press beyond Ward Cleaver and Mike Brady and get good at saying, we've got some apologies to make, and we've got some forgiving to do. You want to try it? I apologize. I apologize. I forgive. I forgive. Unity co-founder Charles Fillmore would say that if we would cure every ill, we are to sit for 30 minutes every evening and forgive. I quote, if you are prejudiced even against an animal, mentally ask forgiveness of it and send it thoughts of love. If you have accused anyone of injustice, if you have discussed anyone unkindly, going to let that sit there for a minute. If you have criticized or gossiped, that one's just funny in a church. I mean, there would never be gossip. If you have criticized or gossiped, if you have had a falling out with friends or relatives, if you are at law or engaged in contention, do everything in your power to end the separation. See all things and all people as they truly are, pure spirit. Do not go to bed at night with any feeling that you have an enemy. And he concludes, there is an immutable law lying back of this healing method. God is love. When we, by withdrawal from our fellows, in any way imagine ourselves to cut the cords of love that bind us together as men and women, we at the same time seem to sever the arteries and veins through which universal life itself flows. End quote. In 1944, South Carolina, 2 white girls were found murdered. Police arrested 2 black brothers. While the elder was released, George Stinney was held. He was questioned alone, tried by an all-white jury in which his defense offered no cross-examination. He was found guilty after some 10 minutes of deliberation. It was only in 2014 that the case was reopened, that the conviction was vacated. But it was on this day in history, June 16th, 1944, that George Stinney would unjustly earn his title as the youngest American to be executed at 14 years old. There is no done in this work. There is no done. The story of Dr. Haleakala Lynn, I may have that wrong, was told by Joe Vitale. Rabbi Ted has referenced it widely. Dr. Lynn worked at Hawaii State Hospital for 4 years in a ward for the criminally insane. The climate was volatile. The turnover was high. Dr. Lynn had an office and he reviewed files, but he saw no patients. And yet his patients started to improve. Formerly shackled patients began to walk freely. Formerly medicated patients began to lose their dependency. Formerly resident patients began being released. Not only that, he's quoted as saying, but the staff began to enjoy coming to work. Absenteeism and turnover disappeared. We ended up with more staff than we needed because patients were being released and because employees were coming to work. We will invite you to experience his work through a song. We're inviting you to sing. In the middle of the song, we'll have a time of silence. You good with that? The interviewer asked the doctor, what were you doing? The obvious question. What were you doing within yourself that caused those people to change? And he answered, I was simply healing the part of me that created them. And he closed by saying, I just kept saying, I'm sorry and I love you, over and over again. I just kept saying, I'm sorry and I love you, over and over again. And the interviewer said, that's it? And the doctor answered, he said, that's it. That's it. The words will be on the screen for your convenience.
I'm sorry, please forgive me. sorry, please forgive me. Thank you, I love you. Ho'oponopono, ho'oponopono, ho'oponopono. I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you, I love you. I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you, I love you. Ho'oponopono, ho'oponopono, ho'oponopono. I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you, I love you. I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you, I love you. There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all for myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you've got to let it go. Let it all go. And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I Yes, I'm only here for God.
My turn, I guess. My turn. Oh, aren't we lucky? Aren't we lucky? Aren't we lucky? And I was really thinking during first service when Matthew and the musicians were doing Oponopono, what truly a practical spirituality we are offered here. This is something we can go home and we can do. And I'll probably use that a little more often than I will use this. Oh, at this point in our service, we take a pause in order to give all of you an opportunity to make a financial contribution to Unity in Lynnwood that supports the growth of this vibrant community and its many offerings throughout the weeks. While you prepare your gifts, I will share a thought from Charles Fillmore on giving. If we have freely received, we must also freely give and keep substance going, confident in our understanding that our supply is unlimited and that it is always right at hand in the omnipresent mind of God. I will thank you now for the gifts given, and it's a perfect moment, too, to acknowledge all of the volunteering that goes on around here, and I've got the gazebo on my mind, so if anyone helped get that in place, would you wave an arm if your arm still waves? And please take a peek out the window. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. Thank you. We have so much to be grateful for here. I also want to shoot out gratitude in the direction of our online community, some of whom might be sitting in chairs if they were within driving distance. So we're glad you're with us, and some of them make contributions online. We're grateful. We're going to try offering our affirmation for our blessings as we prepare to give them. So please join me with this. Thank you. Good work. Together, I infuse this gift with love. I dedicate this gift to possibility. I release this gift in faith.
Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen.
I'll bless these gifts that have been given on behalf of all of us. May they be used to support the growth and the love that flourishes in this community and into the world beyond. And so it is. So in this moment, thank you, ushers, by the way, for your service. In this moment, we do pause to let a newcomer let us know of their presence, if you will. We don't put you on the spot. We just really appreciate your presence and want to say hi. I see someone brave enough to raise their hand. Are there any others? Thank you. I see another hand. Thank you for being with us. I want to orient just a little bit. You might have noticed already the newcomer's information card that's in the back of the chair in front of you. And if you would like to be on our mailing list, there is a stay in touch card right there as well. If you gave us your contact information, it would only result in a couple of emails a month, not a lot, just to let you know what's happening. There is a newcomer's information packet here. It looks like this. It contains a DVD and it shows you visually some of the activities that go on, and you get the sense a little better of the place that way. We also want to invite new people to swing by the bookstore, please, after service or on your way out, and ask for your complimentary copy of the Daily Word. It's just a small little book of affirmations that really makes a great way to start or end a day. We're very happy that you are with us. And please, we hope you will be able to join us in the Friendship Hall for refreshment and get to know, so we can get to know you. As always, I have some announcements, and for details, I direct you back to the Welcome and Information Station. Please see your ambassador to register for this event. Rabbi Ted is offering 3 spiritual counseling openings tomorrow on Monday, June 17th. They're offered on a first-come basis, so if you are interested, run to the Information and Welcome Station. Adult education continues this Tuesday, June 18th, with Jesus' teachings. Gospel teachings have usually portrayed Jesus as the great exception. By focusing upon his sayings, we come to see him as the great example for spiritual awakening, empowerment, and transformation, and our Dr. Richard will facilitate. Would you like to uplift your spirit as you energize and vitalize your body, mind, and soul? If yes, please join like-minded people for an hour-long, lighthearted experience of easy-does-it movement and set to New Thought music in a follow-the-leader format. Health and Wellness Ministry presents The Body is the Temple of the Soul on Saturday, June 29th at 10 a.m. Co-chair Nancy Joy Callahan will facilitate. Please wear comfortable clothing and bring a water bottle, mat, or blanket. And please join our grounds team leader, Cheryl Jones, on Saturday, June 22nd at 9 a.m. for the fun of sprucing up, the fun and deep satisfaction of purposeful engagement in sprucing up the grounds here at Unity in Lynnwood. Please bring gloves and garden tools, and Cheryl's work parties are fun. I can attest to that. Lunch will be provided. And join our prayer chaplains on Wednesday, July 10th at 7 p.m. for their quarterly Celebrate Your Divinity service. This service will feature an evening of chant, stretching, and gong by Siddha Cimarron. We'll do the gentle stretching and chanting in chairs. You're invited to bring a mat or blanket to completely relax as the vibration of the gong blesses and enriches every cell of your being. All good things happening at Unity in Lynnwood can be found on your printed program, on the Facebook page, on our website at unityinlynnwood.org.
The amazing Levon Hardison will be back next Sunday as our musical guest, and she is spectacular. So if you can join us, if you'll join me, we'll sing our peace song.
And forgiveness and apology are ideas that deserve some review by communities such as ours. We would all too often think that love is tantamount to being nice at all times. Love does difficult things. Love does difficult things. You know that apology that came this week? I wasn't at Stonewall. Why, I'm barely 33 years old. I wasn't at Stonewall, and yet when that apology was issued, it mattered to me. It mattered to me. I think all too often we think the apology gets me off the hook and the forgiveness gets you off the hook. Really, in meaningful ways, I think there's something of the opposite at work. You know, when we apologize, I believe that we open a possibility between humans that didn't exist before. And when I forgive, I am retrieving my energy for my own uses. It really is not something I'm giving to you. These are important conversations, but lest I simply begin a new church service at 12:15 on Sunday, take a deep breath. If there's a first name of any soul you would like to invite into this consciousness of love and support, speak that name now, please. Oh, yes, yes. Welcome to our circle. On behalf of any and all who have turned anything of a spiritual ear to this conversation, we stand in all that we believe God to be. We stand in the God conversation. We stand in a conversation of life. We stand in a conversation of a harmony that seeks only to prove itself in the world of form. We stand in a conversation of a sufficiency. We stand in a conversation of wisdom. That's where we stand. We invite you to these waters. This is our divine argument. It's the gift we give. It is the prayer we offer. It is a position in consciousness which we assume, and we put a semicolon at the end of it by lifting our voices with something of a faith, with something of a boldness, and speaking together these closing words. There is one power and one presence in, through, and around all creation. So we go forth as the eyes of divine love, as the tongues of divine wisdom, as the hands of divine sufficiency. Here we go. And the bold and ready hearts of divine life. Happy Father's Day, Unity in Lynnwood. I liked it.